The choice of architecture can say a lot about an institution. So it's actually a little surprising that here at Reed College, with its focus on the humanities, you won't find a single classical column or Roman arch. Instead, the buildings here are in a style called Collegiate Gothic. Triangular false gables, low-slung Tudor arches, and castle-like crenellations. So why this choice of medieval and Elizabethan styles for buildings built at the beginning of the 20th century, here in a former cow pasture in the middle of the Portland Basin? There are at least two ways to tell the story of this college, which owes its founding to Oregon settlers Simeon and Amanda Reed and the land which proved so hospitable to them. The Portland Basin, where they made their home and fortune, had previously been filled by three catastrophic floods from the east, each of which followed the path of the Columbia River. One of fire, the Columbia River basalts, 16 million years ago, a river of lava which flowed through the Cascades to the sea, leaving the tremendous basalts of our magnificent Columbia Gorge. One of rock and ice, the Great Ice Age floods, floods which poured through the Cascades of the Columbia Gorge, flooding the entire Willamette Valley and Portland Basin to a height of 400 feet, as witnessed by the Kalapuya people as recently as 12,000 years ago, and leaving the massive sand and gravel deposits that the college rests securely on today. And finally, one of Euro-American settlers in the 19th century, who again poured through the Columbia Gorge, aided in good part by Simeon Reed and partner William Ladd's efficient monopolization of the Oregon Steam and Navigation Company, which is how the Reed fortune was made. One of those settlers was the Unitarian minister and progressive reformer Thomas Lamb Eliot, who, with the aid of the Unitarian Ladies Sewing Society, helped found the Boys and Girls Aid Society, the Ladies Relief Society, the Library Humane Society, Parks Commission, and Art Museum. Eliot influenced the Reeds, especially Amanda Reed, to bequest much of the Reed fortune for an institution of learning for the promotion of practical knowledge, literature, science, and art. The land for the college had been, for at least the 12,000 years since the last of the Ice Age floods, within the traditional lands of the Clackamas-Qualiwalla people, one of the over 30 tribes that were forcibly marched by the U.S. government to reservation, which was further chipped away at and then terminated, and finally restored in 1983 as the sovereign Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Back in 1850, in order to further extinguish Native American title, the United States passed the Donation Land Claims Act, assigning plots of up to 1 square mile to white men and their wives, plots which were bought up cheaply by the enterprising Ladd, also a banker and real estate developer. The Ladd Estate Company donated the initial 40 acres of pasture land to the Reed Institute, in part because of the historic connection between the two men, and in part to burnish the prestige of its racially segregated suburb Eastmoreland to the south, purporting to protect Reed from being surrounded by low-class dwellings. Eliot chose Reed's first president, the young and idealistic progressive William T. Foster, who wanted to break from confining Ivy League traditions that emphasized sports and fraternities, and had a sweeping agenda that included confronting social ills such as high medical costs and false medical advertising, the conspiracy of silence in matters of sex, silly motion pictures, injustice to the unemployed, billboards on the Columbia River Highway, intercollegiate athletics, and the chaos and waste of English spelling. In the very mortar of the college, in this distinctive wide-jointed brickwork, you can find the geological evidence of the two great floods of basalt and gravel, and in the architecture, in this beautiful Tudor Revival detailing and hand-carved limestone, the contradictions of history. I hope you'll come back for the completion of this video, when we'll look more closely at some of the fantastic architectural details and also some unexpected history of these somewhat problematic, complicated, and, to me, beautiful and inspiring buildings.